So as we're waiting for a couple of more people to roll in, could everyone please put in the chat where they're watching from? Um, it's like I'm in Chicago as usual. I know we've got a few more. Ooh, Toronto, exciting. Yeah, I think Nicola was Coadron was thinking of joining us. I'm not sure if he's here yet, but so he might get
Yeah.
yeah might get a France, but
Hmm? Oh, thank you.
is the furthest Scotland? I see David Temperley on here. Uh,
Oh, hi.
but it's good to see you. Yeah, always sharing amazing things from over there.
Netherlands, England, Scotland.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll probably want to mute before we get going in a couple of minutes. But let's see. Oh, there you go, Micah. Good to see you. Um, from the Netherlands. Oh, Emiko, other coast. Yes. Here we go. Great. All right, so we're running out of summer here. I don't know if how we're all feeling about this, but hopefully we're getting at least some cooler weather eventually. Um, and today we have a wonderful book that doesn't exist yet that we want everyone to get this amazing advanced look at from Rosston, Meyer, Poposition, Simon Arizpe, and Bruce Foster, and we'll get to that in a bit. And Carolyn Shattuck will be showing some of her recent work afterwards for a look at some books that have been completed. I also wanted while we're still waiting for a couple people. Oh, hi, Marcia, um, one of our newer members. Yes, formerly of the Getty Research Institute, so she knows artist books. Yeah, but yeah. So I wanted to remind everybody as we've been trying to ramp up a little bit on our social media and other ways. We do have an exciting conference coming up in St. Louis at the end of next month. So we do have to eventually cut off the early rate on the virtual as well as the in-person uh, uh, registrations for that. So if you're thinking about coming, please take a look soon. I think the website says August 27th is the cutoff. We could probably go until the 31st. Just email me at info@Movable Book Society if you're have a question about what rate, and it'll be and do let me know if you're not sure if you're currently a member, because we're always happy to sign you back up for that exciting discount, which is pretty generous. But we only do this every 2 years, and this is my first one that I'm so co-organizing with Isabel Uria, who did amazing things in Cleveland. So with Simon, I think we may be doing a repeat of some of the flashier things. Yes, yes. The pop off. That is going to be, it's going to be even better this time. I don't know how many of you saw there was literally we literally had basically a game show version of Paper Engineering Live at the last one. And we're going to do a better job of filming it this time too, so people on the virtual attendees should be able to see it a little better. But it was amazing that this could just happen on request. So yeah, and we have two really wonderful visits to special collections in the St. Louis area as well. They have a really deep uh, a history of collecting miniature books in St. Louis, and the one of the curators at the Special Collections Library at Wash U put together a miniature pop-up book exhibition that'll be on view while we're there. It's already up. In fact, I think it may even have been a little inspired by our visit, and so we'll be seeing special collections materials there that we'll be able to touch. Don't worry. And then we're also going to the Medical Historical Library, which has things that may not want to touch with flaps going back to the 16th century. So we'll have a lot of history and a lot of modern engineering happening. And if you don't know, Julie Chen is our keynote. We're very, very happy about this, and she it will be great. So yeah, think about the conference. So so yes, we're over 56 people now. So I think we want to turn over to Rosston and co. So
Right.
Rosston, I think you're going to be hiding and showing us your book. So let's spotlight
Yes.
that, Marianne, if you don't mind. But yes, you had a big anniversary with Poposition Press recently, didn't you? That was
Yeah, kind of. It was I've been doing Poposition Press for 12 or 13 years. But yeah, I was lucky enough to get the cover of the latest Movable Stationery with an interview and kind of talk about how I'm somehow still making pop-up books so many years later, which I'm excited to be doing and excited to be talking about this. So
Mhm.
many of you on the call either have or are aware of the Dwindling Party, which is a pop-up book that Edward Gorey made. I don't know exactly what year. Ib Pennick did the engineering for this, and my understanding is that this is the first time ever that Edward Gorey did illustrations, meaning or colored in his own illustrations for his own book. I believe that's the case. So this is somewhat of a collector's item now, and yeah, so we're going to talk about the upcoming Signals book. So a art licensing firm called For Art Partners, who works with the Edward Gorey Trust, reached out to me about a year or so ago and asked me about doing a book. And I knew about the Dwindling Party. I knew about some of Gorey's other kind of pop-up and paper-related things that he did during his career. And it took a while to land on Signals. Basically, there turns out there was a lot of older unpublished stories and unpublished works, and I really tried to get my hands on those, but this is what we settled on. So Signals was a mail order catalog that was basically PBS's mail order catalog in the 80s and 90s. I think it went away early 2000s. So this series of prints was created. Actually, Marianne, could you pull up that one of those links, that Gorey Books link? Because that kind of explains this a little better. There's not a ton of information on these. Basically, Edward Gorey was commissioned to make a series of prints that were only available through the Signals mail order catalog. Some of them were triptychs, some of them were odd sizes, and there's not really any story behind the series or each individual piece. Like there's kind of no description whatsoever about any of this stuff. There is the titles. There's actually multiple titles we found out. So it's a little bit unclear, but what we have to work with is essentially there's 10 pieces of beautiful Edward Gorey art that were created just for this, and they're not associated with any sort of story. It's just pieces of art with things happening on the page, which is kind of great for a pop-up. It's great for, what I do with Poposition, with the kind of art-focused books. So out of these 10 pieces, turns out we're going to end up using 8 of the 10 for the book. Now the book will be, the main book will be 6 spreads, and then there's going to be a special, kind of like a pop-up spread, like a special pop-up item that will be part of the special edition, which I'll show at the end of all this. Bruce Foster and Simon Arizpe are both, you can see their names here, they're both going to do a spread each. We're not as far along with this as we kind of thought we would be at this stage, but that's okay because we're still, working on it, and I think it's kind of cool for everybody to see it in this kind of stage and kind of the early planning mock-up stages of these pieces. So that said, let's start with the trysts. Where is it? So this one is actually a triptych of 3 square images. And, oh, sorry. Light's doing a little bit. There we go. And you can see there's like, there's this guy in this tower, people standing around. I'm pretty sure that this is always Edward Gorey when you see the guy with the big fur coat. So I'm pretty sure that's him. He's on a car, and then these two are kind of hanging out near this statue, passing some sort of secret note. I'm not really sure. So let me just go walk over here. I'll show you. This is not nowhere near done, but just kind of the basic layout is somewhat figured out. Let me try to come back here. And if anybody has the Triad Junko Mizuno book that I did a couple years back, this is kind of similar to, there's a triptych spread in there. So I'm sorry about my camera moving. Hold on a second. Just get it to stay. There we go. Okay. So, in the middle, I have not gotten to this. They're going to be in the middle when it opens up. On the left side will be this guy in the tower. And here's a kind of somewhat more updated version of him, and the guy with the little horn in his ear. And then on the right side, right now it's like that. What I'm trying to do engineering wise is get it so that when these side flaps close, everything that's on this right side flap is hidden behind here. So it's going to take a little bit of work because I don't want any overlap. And this just kind of shows, I don't know if any other paper engineers do this. I assume this shows kind of the motion. So I'm going to have some sort of pull tab that moves his arm and makes them essentially, I guess he's passing the note to her, so their arms move, some sort of movement in there. And one of the interesting things about so far working with Edward Gorey's work, since it's all black and white, and I've done a ton of fill-in work, like digital fill-ins with all sorts of different artists. I even helped David Carter with his Monet and Van Gogh books, like doing all those background fill-ins. So I consider myself relatively adept at doing this at this stage. I will say that kind of mixing this stuff and copying, let's say like this bush right here to fill in, it's very difficult. It's like probably harder with Edward Gorey's work than any other artist that I've worked with ever, which is kind of interesting. So you can see I took kind of like that separation, like right here, obviously that bush can be connected. This kind of hill line needed to be fixed, and turning that triptych into basically one big long scene. So this will be the opening spread for the book when it gets done. Now for the second spread, I have to show you guys. This is one of 3 really tall vertical spreads. So this is called Cat on Tower. You can see Cat on the Tower. Some kind of people hanging along. Now let me out of focus there. Sorry, I have not done this before, so obviously I'm not doing the best job with my camera. There we go. That's a little better. So this is just going to be one big tall tower. This was kind of the first pass at it. And then I worked on the background. And this is actually where I really noticed that doing the typical kind of cloning for the background for this cross section, which is a lot of space to fill in. It might look okay to you guys here. When I look at it up close, it really bothers me because you can kind of see some patterns. I've showed some other paper engineers this recently, and they agree. So I'm going to go in and probably redo all of this. Also going to add some other maybe interactivity with, there's these 2 guys. Where is it here? This guy's kind of like hanging behind the back layer of the tower. And same with this guy. So I'm going to try to figure out a way where they appear, maybe they turn into a pull tab. It's really fun work, I would say overall. there's nothing kind of creepy. You know, some of Edward Gorey's stuff is a little bit scary and creepy, and with pretty much all this artwork, there's really nothing kind of weird going on. There's a couple slightly odd things, but nothing that crazy. Um, so yeah, so those are the two that I've kind of started myself, and I guess we should go to Bruce next, which would be we can move over to Bruce. Well, he'll explain it, but he basically took two similar tall, we just called it tall scene, two similar tall pieces, and he did a really cool thing with the way he kind of combined these two into a pop-up spread.
Oh, hey everybody. So I'm going to share my screen right here and go to this right here. Share that with you guys. Okay, so I want to show you this one first. Can you see that image there?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so the two images that Rosston assigned to me are connected thematically, but are never connected directly. So in my pop-up, I wanted to put the two together side by side, give them some depth, and you see all these characters that are all over the place here.
Bruce, excuse me for a moment. Are we supposed to be seeing the two fill the screen or are your desktop? Because we're seeing them on the desktop right now.
Hold on a second. Let me see. What am I sharing? Hold on. Oh, do you see it? Do you see this image of the two right there?
It's
On
on
your
the
desktop,
right-hand
yes.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can maybe double click again, maybe see if you can pull up the separate image.
Yeah, I've got too many windows open. Give me 1 second. Let's figure.
Oh, we've got plenty of time.
Okay. Screen sharing. It says I've got the right screen. It's you guys aren't seeing that big image right there?
Nope.
Okay, hold on. Stop that share. Let me get back to it. Try again. And okay.
It'll be worth the wait.
There we go. They'll do it this way. Now can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
Yay.
now, so now there, so you see that these are two images that are related but never connected by Gorey himself. And so I have these two beautiful but very tall, very narrow things that have to fit across this wider spread of the book to match the others. So the first challenge was, of course, is to give some depth to this and then try to find ways to bring these characters to life. Notice also that there are objects that are that disappear on the edges of the artwork that he never completed. So part of this was also like Rosston was saying, cloning a lot of artwork. In this case, recreating some of these vases above and beyond, removing everything to make the background. And I'm going to see if I can show that to you as well. Seems to me I have to stop off of each one and click on the new one. There, can you see that big screen? It's not showing you, is it?
No, we're just seeing your
No,
desktop.
still the background.
And there, I got to do each one. That's what the problem is. All right, so there's everything without anything in front of it. You guys see that? The big background? Yes. Okay. So now, as Rosston was saying, all these little hatch marks, very, very difficult to clone. So there's tons of creative cloning and repeated things all through there. So one of the first things you've really got to do is get rid of everything in the foreground that's actually going to pop up and be inserted at the printer and just have your background. So there's that. And now let's do another. I wish I could just show this whole thing here. Screen sharing that. So my first, here's my image of the whole pop-up together. Again, you guys aren't seeing that yet, are you?
No.
I got to do each and every single one of them. Okay, there. I just switch in and out. So there it is, showing some depth. And you see all the little things that I've been able to work into this spread. close that one. Show you another. Which is in here. And straight on like that. This is a bit irritating, but bear with me. There. Now you can see that. See it straight on. Now I have put all kinds of little pull tabs in here to make things happen. I'm going to show you a movie here in a second, but I mean, this will be quite complex when it's all put together. But so this one is further along than some of the others you've seen already, but nevertheless, a lot of fun working on these things here. Stop that one. And let me see if I can get to a movie here. Oh, by the way, Patrice and Chris Miller had a wonderful exhibition in College Station. I think it's still running. And it is, there's so many things. I don't know where this, how come that's so small? Share that. No, it's coming out really small. I don't understand. Stop this. Right here. Okay, let me see. Where did it go? All right, so there's my screen, right? This is my window. That's all you're seeing right now. The movie. I've made a movie of this. I'm gonna not open that one yet. All right, stop sharing that one and share this one. Share. Now you see the movie now, don't you?
Yep. Yes.
All right, so now this is when you first open it up and you see it all comes together, and you can really start to see the depth and how some things are automatically moving around. There's things rising in the background, a little dog swinging from the clouds, lots of little things there. Then I'm going to show you the next movie, which is the actual movements itself. That would be this one. Stop sharing, share that. Which will be this one. There, now we're going to see this one nice and big. And I'll play this, and I've walked my way through this, explaining this to Rosston earlier about what I was doing. Wrong one. It's this one. Can you see this one now?
Yes.
Pull tabs. All right, so the teeter-totter, the spy, this little lady who's hiding in the dungeons, you pull this guy out, and suddenly she appears in the window, like that. There's a little guy walking the ledge. He may teeter-totter a bit more than that. Someone's going to appear over here to the right, out of nowhere, like that. One more, I believe.
Move this hand and the mountain peak over to here. And if I added a little hand poke into here, because there's a hidden surprise under here, you can rotate the guy in the window.
There. So that's my spread. I've got a lot going on there in this one. And that's what I've got to show you guys. Now, I will tell you guys that if you're a Gorey fan, you should try to make it to College Station to see this. I think it's running sometime into September. Is Chris or Patrice online here?
Yes, through the last Friday in September.
Last Friday in September. So that's great. Right before the conference. So there's still a chance. I will tell you that this is 2 full floors of the most extensive Gorey collection I've ever seen. And I learned so much just by looking at it and just exploring. I've got a couple of 100 pictures I took. I did a story on it in the last Movable Stationery, so you can read up on it. It's there. But if you're a Gorey fan, you really need to you can go by and see that because they've done a wonderful job putting that collection out there for everyone. And I'm turning it back over to you guys. I don't know if Simon is here yet.
He is.
Okay, Simon,
Oh,
turning it over to
yes.
you, man. Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everybody. How are we all doing? I'm going to try to share my screen and show you this image. Can y'all see the
Yes.
this JPEG I have?
Yes.
All right, great. So this is the Edward Gorey piece I'm working on from Signals that Rosston sent me, which is kind of showing this hotel. There's a lot of things kind of going on, playing around with like movement. If you look at it, there's people falling down the stairs, there's babies floating, falling. It's a little unclear. But with all of these pieces, they're all in the same orientation. And so the challenge we're all running into is kind of figuring out how to then bring that into a larger shape of a pop-up book. So let's see if I can bring it back. So I have my version here. So what I've done is I've kind of duplicated everything onto two sides. And again, we're kind of still in the rough stages. I might be a little rougher than in everybody else at this moment, but playing around with this idea of how do I take kind of that image and bring it in to create kind of a three-dimensional shape with the staircase kind of being the most important part. And so what I'm going to do is kind of taking, if we look at it kind of from the side, using kind of that bigger mechanism to create the floor. And so that's something we're going to have to find the art for is some kind of floor or tapestry, and then playing around with the tension so that that floor, that floor kind of becomes the strength that makes everything move. And then from that, what I'm going to do is from that, what I'm going to be able to do is have a lot of strength and structure to create things like the baby moving using that same mechanism of the floor to kind of create the movement of like the baby moving, and then we'll clone it so there's not a baby on the other side. We're going to do some things so that the symmetry is gone, but keeping that kind of, you know, full overall shape so that it feels like a full room, like a complete kind of idea. Yeah, and so that's where I'm at right now, is trying to figure out, you know, how to create that smaller shape into a much bigger shape, and then using this mechanism and kind of this layered mechanism to create a lot of movement and create things so that people are moving, doors are opening and closing. And then for me, just trying to figure out when is the right time to use pull tabs, when is the right time to let the gutter kind of make those movements happen. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Rosston, can I send that back to you?
Yeah, good thing.
Yeah.
So that's 4 of the 6 spreads from the book, the kind of main regular edition, so to speak. And then this one here, which I do know pretty much exactly what I'm gonna do, but I just wanted to point this out, that the winter scene has a gazebo in it, and the original pop-up book, The Dwindling Party, last spread, is a gazebo. So it's not going to stand up like this, but there will be a gazebo, which is a reoccurring thing in Corey's work. So the last thing I have to kind of show and talk about is the last piece. So if any of you looked at that Gorey Books website, you might have noticed that Signals Print 10, which is the theater, is in color, and it's the only one that's in color. Before I show you that, one of the other things that Gorey did was he did the stage set design for a Dracula show. And I don't know if it was during or after the show was on Broadway, that they released, it was Pomegranate, I believe, released this toy theater. And what it is, it's a little play set. There's 3 of these. You know, they actually could have bound this as a carousel book rather than these kind of single pieces. I'm not sure why they did, but this is what it is. And then it comes with sheets of little paper dolls that you cut out. There's also a couple, there's like a coffin, I think a table, there's a couple pieces of furniture. So you can, essentially recreate the Dracula set. So when looking at this is the color theater piece. Looking at this, I kind of had the idea to pay homage in a way to the toy theater and turn this theater into a similar theater. So my first pass, well, first thing I did was I decided I would go kind of Kubasta style, a 90-degree piece. So this was kind of just my first pass to see how it would work. I realized I needed to extend the floor out here. I still have not solved what to do with these curtains. So I'm gonna figure that out and figure out a way that they pop up nicely. But so let me move this in just a little closer because these are kind of cool. So in a bit of time, this might be about halfway done. So this is kind of a stand that's going to stand it up. And this, that is what it's going to look like. I don't know if it's my camera is not zooming in or it looks a bit blurry to me. Thank you, Kyle. I just saw your comment. So interestingly, kind of the opposite of what we're seeing with the black and white hatchwork or cross, whatever the line work. I'm seeing that replicating, removing things, editing this color artwork is working out very easy. And maybe the issue that we're having with the black and white is just because there's just one value. It's just black. There's not a lot of different values to, kind of clone and edit with. So what I started doing is taking some of these. Let me turn the light down. There we go. So basically taking the little characters and, I've got the toy theater. I've got a couple doll houses. I personally don't like these little stands that you have to physically attach to the piece to make it stand because they fall apart. They become loose. They get lost. So I'm going to do it like this, where it basically comes out like this, and then it just stands up. Oh, it does stand up like that. So it's going to be really fun. There's going to be, I think, 7 or 8. This guy's kind of like dancing. There's this little boy. There's a couple things that will be integrated into the pop-up itself, like this devil coming out of the baseboard. That will be a flap. And then he'll appear. His pitchfork might not be that tall. The smoke will not extend this far. It'll probably just be on the backside of that flap. So that will be there. I think the bicycle, I think I started recreating the full bicycle. And then just like a lot of these pieces, there's like people hiding behind the curtain. So there's this guy over here and this woman over here. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with them. The other interesting thing is, there's these angels up top. So what I'm going to figure out is a way that these angels, I'm going to add, I think 5 hooks, probably 1 hook for each of these curtains that are going to be somehow popping up dimensionally up top. And you'll be able to place the angels in whatever hook you want to. And then the only kind of, in my opinion, the only really weird thing and kind of odd thing is this guy. Like what? Please in the chat, let me know what you guys think because I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like what's going on here? This guy is stealing a cat from the stage and taking it. I don't know what's going on. It's weird. It's awesome. So he's going to be the third piece with the hook. So you'll be able to basically take the 2 angels and the weird cat guy and kind of they'll be hanging around. So it'll be a similar playset to Dracula. The special edition, I'm not sure yet what the box will be. And as a lot of you guys know, I like to do kind of interesting packaging. So I haven't really figured that one out yet. But I think this is going to be fun. This is a little bit different for me. Having never done anything like a paper doll or like a playset, I think it's pretty cool. I do want to also mention a couple other things.
Sure.
One is Edward Gorey. Of course, he had a history with pop-ups with the Dwindling Party and Toy Theater. So did a couple other famous artists that are no longer with us that I've been lucky enough to work with. So Keith Haring, Andy Warhol, and Edward Gorey all had a history of pop-ups and putting out products with pop-ups during their careers. So it's kind of cool that now so many years later, I'm able to make some new pop-ups with their work. And then the final thing, Marianne, if you could pull up that Black Doll page from the main Gorey website. I want to mention this because this is kind of fun. Stagehand cueing a cat drop, possibly. So if you guys can go to this, I don't have any images pulled, but there's this reoccurring character in a lot of Edward Gorey's artwork called the Black Doll, and he was made as a doll. He's kind of like a really simple, armless black doll that appears throughout his work. So during talking to the Gorey Trust, I asked them, I kind of noticed that that the Black Doll appears, but he's never really kind of explained. There was a Black Doll book, but then he appears in a lot of Gorey's other work. So I asked them, I said, it'd be really fun. Like, as paper engineers, we like to hide Easter eggs as much as possible. Could we hide a Black Doll in each spread? And they said, absolutely. So I think it's really cool that they're going to let us do that. We haven't really, Simon and Bruce and I, we haven't really talked about or figured that out yet, but some of them will be easy to find, but we are for sure going to put some that are going to be very difficult to spot. And I think that's exciting because I've actually tried to do that with a lot of books, and not everybody is keen on the hidden characters throughout the books. So all this said, with the current landscape of tariffs and everything going on, we'll finish this year. It'll probably go to print sometime early next year, and then we will have some sort of event with the Gorey Trust, possibly at Gorey's house in New England, possibly at the Museum of Illustrators in New York City. That is all to be determined, but we will let everybody know when we know. Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to scrolling through the chat and the questions. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Talk to you guys.
thank you all. This was amazing. I think Mary and I were just thinking that this is so much better than seeing the final. I mean, just the nitty gritty, the different stages, like Simon. I mean, that staircase and I mean, you're actually getting towards The Shining meets Gorey with that double baby. So the horror is has all sorts of formats. But I think, yeah, we had a lot of questions that were very specific in the chat. I see Katie saying the University of Florida has the drawings for the clothing and background design of Dracula. So I don't know if you need more inspiration for the for the theater, but that's amazing. Rustin, did you say the theater was going to be in the special edition or in all the editions?
Yeah, just in the special edition. So that'll be the
That's yeah.
That's what'll make it special, basically.
Like cat heist guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone needs him. Let's see. Did anyone have any burning questions that they want to bring up just now for the whole group?
I did see Mikey. I did see your question. I have thought about using actual ink, and that might end up being the case. I don't know. We have to kind of all go through, and there's so much area that we're basically filling in with hatchwork. It's got to look like he actually did it and it wasn't cloned. So it's very possible we may end up doing something like that.
I asked if that exhibit is going to travel. Does anyone?
Oh, Bruce might know.
Yeah, Patrice or Chris, can you answer that question?
At this time, no, the exhibit's not going to travel. So it's just going to be at College Station. If anyone is interested, it's Monday through Friday only. The Cushing is not open on the weekends. And be advised that it's starting to be SEC football season. So
half of a refrigerated pear. That's why. Give me half.
So did someone else have a question?
Yeah. Hi. Will the original prints be included in the book?
Oh, most likely not. So that it's funny that did come up because I noticed that a lot of them are still available. But the issue is that some of them, the Gorey Trust has stock of certain ones. Other people, like the guy who runs that Gory Books website, has other ones, but they didn't want to mix it with this kind of new product. So
Okay, I just reproductions would be fine.
yeah, I don't think they want to do that because the originals are still available. I
Oh,
think that
all
was the issue.
Hey,
Yeah,
Rosston,
so-
so at
Yeah,
one
it'd be
point,
great.
at Rosston, at one point, we were talking about adding the other two signals to the end papers, even if we don't pop them. And you said that there was
Yes.
something, it was a problem with the scans on one of them, and we don't have the high risk scan.
Yeah, so there was two triptychs, and then there's one called Summer Joy, which is like another wide piece that there's a bunch of people kind of jumping in the lake in their bathing suits. And one of those two pieces they didn't have. I don't remember what, but it actually turns out that with the color theater, the Gory Trust did not even have that. And I was gonna buy one so that we could scan it to make the pop-up from the guy who owns the Gory Books ended up kind of donating one back to the trust so that they could scan it for their archives. So it's kind of interesting. Like, my understanding is there's stuff out there that is not archived in the trust collection, but is out in other collections. So they're working on getting it all in one place, and I think this project is part of that. There's a couple of these pieces that I'm doing some edits on, and that's going to be added to their archive. But yeah, we are. I think that is a good idea, Bruce. I think we should still add them in as printed pieces, even if they're not all pop-up. So the whole series is somewhere in the book.
Well, if we can get the scan that's high enough resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Hillary, did you have a question? No? Okay. There was a raised hand. Okay. Yeah, I found it really interesting that the first spread was, I assume, labeled by Gorey as a triptych already. So I think of triptychs as an art historian as being already a movable artwork, because you have multiple framed sections that are often hinged and could be closed in in a devotional setting in sort of interesting ways. So did that affect in any way what you wanted to do with the first one? It looks like you said it's going to be one spread in the final.
Yeah, I mean, really, I just noticed that the backgrounds of like the first and the second panels, like they just obviously go together. And it's just a little bit of trial and error. But yes, it's funny you say that, because I view a triptych as three separate pieces that also work as one piece.
I mean, it can be both, but obviously I wouldn't be here if I weren't thinking about like the movable part of that. Are they still going to fold in?
Yes.
So the whole it's one spread, and then it will fold twice, basically. Okay, then you're
It'll fold
maintaining,
twice, yeah.
yeah. So then you're maintaining that. That's great. Has Poposition done a lot of black and white books? I'm trying to remember, because I know that the theater will be different, but
No, but there is one. Let me see if I can grab it while I'm talking. There is an artist that is heavily influenced his artwork style by Gorey. Here they are. Some of you guys might have seen these. So I did these a couple years ago, but this guy's name is John Ken Mortensen, and it's like, basically, if Gorey didn't do his thing, I don't think that this guy would be. It looks like almost Edward Gorey made this piece, but it's a lot more horror and scary.
Rosston,
So I did a couple
Rosston,
cards
do you have
with
a
this guy.
camera
but-
on?
yeah, we
you
can't
Oh,
we
I'm
can't,
sorry.
we can't see it,
I'm sorry.
Rosston.
Look side. There. So this is
There we
Dressed to
go.
Kill. And this guy is he's from Denmark.
Oh,
His name's John Ken Mortensen. Interestingly, and he's got a pretty active career making really scary monster art, but he also does set design for essentially Denmark's Sesame Street. That's kind of his day job, and then he does this stuff on the side. Let me see if I can find the other pop-up I did with him. The other one's a little bit creepier, but oh, here it is. But other than these two cards, have I done anything else black and white? I don't think so. So this is Window Freaks.
I like this one a lot. Yay.
It's like horrifying. Heavily gory coded. I did mention him to the Gory Trust when I started speaking with them, and they were aware of his work. But other than those, I mean, Peter's stuff doesn't count as black and white, because it's just white. But no, I think this would be the first book that's just black and white that I'll have put out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's probably a bigger conversation for paper engineers on this Zoom about when is shading in monochrome, when is that enough, or but I love that you're coming full circle with Gorey and these other artists, because clearly that's such an influence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we have any other questions for the group? We might want to, maybe we can move on to something a little more colorful. Going once, twice. Okay, Marianne, would you like to introduce Carolyn?
Sure. So let me I'll just drop her URL, and so you can see we are going from monochromatic to full color very quickly. I first met Carolyn at the Tropic Bound Book Arts Fair in 2023. And Carolyn, I'm going to embarrass you because I know how modest you are. But what really struck me about her work were the themes of environmentalism and activism, which is not necessarily something that you see very broadly in a lot of book arts fairs. And then in 2025, I was so happy to see Carolyn and her table and her work there as well. And that's when I discovered that Carolyn also has a background in medicine, because I was suffering from a back injury, and there she was giving me all sorts of advice. And so your journey to book arts is just so interesting and so amazing and fascinating to me. So I'm really happy that you have offered to show your work, and I'm going to pass on the microphone and the camera to you. You're muted, Carolyn.
Yeah. Okay. Can you all see me? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I
Yes.
can hear
Okay.
you and I see you.
I just wanted to give a little background on how I got to book arts for a long journey. I was raised in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and was trained as a nurse. And couple of years after my training and working as a psychiatric nurse, my husband and I moved down to the United States, where he was then promptly drafted in the Vietnam War. And so we spent 3 years in Okinawa, Japan, which really had a huge influence on me as I began to think that I could be an artist. And from there, I started taking a lot of printmaking classes, and I also got a degree, MFA in painting at Bard. But the one thing about the printing is I started to collage, build up the surface. And as I did that, that was all on a horizontal level. And then at one point I thought, well, I could make that vertical and start thinking about how these pieces could interact. So I started with book arts about 25 years ago, and I love the structures. So that's basically how I started.
You have 2 or 3 books. Do you want me to show video for, do you want me to share screen and show video for 1 or 2 of them?
Sure.
Or do you have them in front do you have them there?
I have them. I have on the, we traveled to Africa several times, and I was really enthralled by the animals and the experience of having, some of them are going to be extinct. I've done books on rhinoceros and hippos, but I also did one on the pangolin. I know you can show the video, but I didn't think the video really I did this pangolin by the Cricut machine, and that was really fun to work with the Cricut machine, by the way. And it's huge. The book is huge. So maybe you could show the video, but I just want to make sure that you definitely got to see the pangolin. And they are being trafficked for all kinds of ailments, you name it, from Vietnam and China, and this mammal will be extinct in a few years.
Let me share my screen then.
Thank you.
Does everybody see that? Display from-
Looks good.
Yes.
There's a question about the background art.
Yeah. Carolyn, can you tell us about the background art and how you created that and what the basis of it is?
Okay, that comes from my printing experiences where I took a class from this fellow who showed me how to work with water-based dyes, color dyes. They print them on a piece of parchment paper, let it dry, and then you sandwich it with regular BFK paper that's wet, slightly wet, and you run it through the press, and then the dyes get absorbed into the paper. So it's really cool. Looks very watercolorish.
The subject matter of the background, I see a lot of greens, I see a lot of hatch marks. It seemed to be reminiscent of your Pandolin as well. Are you just trying to have the habitat? Is that what the purpose of the background is? Is the habitat where it comes from?
Well, actually, they are very hidden and they're nocturnal, so you don't really get, I tried really hard to get to see them. I even went to the San Diego Zoo to see if I could find them. But they weren't exhibiting that time. So I just invented the background. I mean, maybe it should have been really dark because they live, mainly in the evenings. You can see them there. I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, I saw that Jean mentioned that your Rhino book is at the Herskowitz Library in near Chicago, which is wonderful. I think rhino horn is much better known object of trafficking. I didn't realize that pangolin scales were similarly prized in that way. That's really that's heartbreaking. But I can see sort of the medical interest coming out in this book as well. It's no, I mean it's your sort of pull down of all of the
Yes.
maladies. Yeah. So wonderful. Maybe I think we can move on to the second video, Marianne. Do you think?
Carolyn, do you want the second video or the most recent book?
I prefer Vax.
Okay.
Sure, let's go. Let's finish up with Vax.
Okay, we'll finish with that. Hold on. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh, it looks like there's some clapping happening in silence, but it's a very powerful piece. I've read the Roald Dahl letter separately, and it's a yeah, it's very hard to read. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, the vaccinations, and you're bringing a point to how necessary they have been, or how wonderful they've been, and it's so heartbreaking to see such anti-vaccination in our
Yes.
country. I think it's partially because people have been so well protected from vaccinations that
Yeah.
they've forgotten what it's like without them, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
we're going to find out. So,
I mean, I remember going to school, and sometimes there would be at least one student who was limping with polio.
yep.
I mean, you just don't see that anymore.
Yeah, my best friend in first grade had braces on his legs, and my father-in-law had polio. So his one of his legs was like 3 inches shorter than the other.
Yeah.
So terrible diseases, and so preventable.
So I would like to share one other really important fact, and is that we lost our 4-year-old daughter to H. flu meningitis in 1975 because there was no vaccine at the time. Now there is, thank God. So it's really important for parents to make sure they get their kids vaccinated and do not listen to him.
Right.
It's my latest book.
That's powerful. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for sharing this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for sharing your work with us, because I know I was prodding you at this past, was it February in Miami?
Yes.
I'm really glad it worked out for this to happen. Thank you.
It's great to meet you.
Yeah. So I think we're just about out of time. I don't know that we can add much more in terms of the, how personal paper engineering can be, but this is really a testament to how timely and touching this medium can be. So we'll the next meeting of the Zoom will be about the conference, but hoping that if anyone still needs to broker a roommate who wants to come, you can email me at info@movablebooksociety.org. We have at least one more female attendee who would like a female roommate. So let me know. Yep, thank you, Marianne, and I hope for sharing the link again, and yeah, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. That was fun sharing the Edward Gorey book. Hopefully we do it again when it's done.
Oh, perfect. We'll save you a spot.